What's going on, gang? It's Todd Brown from MarketingFunnelAutomation.com, and in this little video I want to show you a screenshot of a landing page, a squeeze page that's gained a lot of popularity over the last handful of months. And I want to actually show you two different versions or two different applications of this same type of squeeze page, and I want to show you what appears to be a very subtle difference between the two different versions of this squeeze page, but I want you to see the massive impact that this little subtle change can have, not only on the opt-in rate, but the mindset, the perspective that the lead has, the prospect has, getting on the list. And so the first example, this is a screenshot of this page. You could see that basically this is the first example, and this is the second example, which I'm going to come back to in a second. And basically what happens is, above this area, again, this is a screenshot, above this area is where the headline is, and basically what happens is when an individual hits this page, they select one of these radio buttons. How did you hear about us? They click next, and then with this particular template, the progress bar moves. They go to the second step. The second step is where they enter their email address. Once they submit their email address, the progress bar obviously continues. They get to step 3, and then there's a button there that says, give me access right now, or something like that. And so that's the same way that this version and this version work. The only difference really in terms of the template is the progress bar. So this template, very nice, very sharp, from Lead Pages, Clay Collins. Lead Pages, very cool, whereas this is like a static PHP type of page. Now, the thing that I want you to really pay attention to here is this area right here, where basically it gives the options for how did you hear about us. Now, a little clarification on this squeeze page. This data isn't being collected, so nowhere is this data going. It's not like this data is going into a CRM or into a database or anything like that. And so same thing over here. This is nowhere is any of this information, whether they choose the first one, second one, third one, fourth one. This isn't being used for anything. This isn't customizing the rest of the funnel or anything like that. And so I share that because I want you to understand that really the main purpose, what makes this so effective, is the framing that happens based on the options on this list. And so let me explain. So the options on this list, how did you hear about us? You could have heard about this person on this site on Facebook. You could have heard about this site from a friend, from an online search, Google, Bing, whatever, or somewhere else. Whereas on this version, it says, how did you hear about us? And one of the options is TV, is Dan Kennedy, somebody who's got a lot of credibility in the marketing, business growth arena, email, newsletter, or other. And even though it might seem like a subtle difference, it might seem like, well, this particular marketer is probably advertising on Facebook, and so he's got these different options down. These are actual, like, let's just call it, these are legitimate options. Over here, I have no idea if this person, if this site owner was ever on TV, if Dan Kennedy ever mentioned them or not. And so let me just, say that right now. I have no idea if they've ever been on TV, had an infomercial or anything like that, or again, spoken for Dan Kennedy, been mentioned by Dan Kennedy or anything. But the reality is that the framing that occurs here by having this choice, by having TV you know, over here, by having Dan Kennedy right here, is the mindset, the perspective that a prospect has when seeing this, is that this individual has some credibility. I mean, the thought is, well, if I could have heard about them on TV, or if I could have heard about them from Dan Kennedy, then this person must be legit. Whereas this page is not taking advantage of any of the framing. This page right here simply becomes just a step in the opt-in process. Whereas on this page, this is not just a step, but it's framing. It's giving the perspective, giving the prospect the perspective that this person is legit, that this person's the real deal, that this person is somebody to pay attention to. I've seen individuals use this this type of squeeze page, and they've had things like, how did you hear about us? And it would be, you know, Entrepreneur Magazine, or, you know, CNNnews.com, and so on. Now, I have no idea in those cases if those individuals have ever legitimately been on those pages or not, or if they're simply using it as a way to establish frame. But the reality is, there's a way to engineer this, and I've talked about this before in prior training videos, and I've mentioned this before on a blog post. There was a technique that the late Gary Halbert, legendary copywriter, one of the greatest copywriters, direct response copywriters of all time, one of the things that he would do when he wanted credibility for a new project that he was working on is he would run an advertorial style ad, an ad that looked like it was editorial, but it was really an advertisement that he paid for. And in the ad, he would sing the praises of, let's call it the product or service that he was working on. And what he would then do is he would run that advertorial ad in that paper, and then in the rest of his marketing, he was able to talk about how he was mentioned in, or the project, the product, the service, whatever, was mentioned in that magazine, right, or that newspaper, whatever it is. And so he engineered the credibility. He engineered the fact that he appeared in the New York Times or whatever it is. Meanwhile, he ran the advertorial in there. He paid for it to be in there. But once it was in there, he was able to leverage that in his marketing. And so you can absolutely do the same thing here by running a news release. There's a way to run a news release with, let's say, a company like PR Web, where you can run a news release and get that news release picked up by a lot of big name news sites, and then you can leverage those big name news sites that pick up that news release on here. And so ultimately, how did you hear about us? Now it could be you know, CNNmoney.com or whatever it is, and another one of the big name news sites that pick you up, you know, the whatever, the San Francisco Herald or something. And so you can actually engineer that. The point is that this is a great tool to use. This is a great style of opt-in page, of squeeze page to use, because it allows you to establish a frame of credibility right up front before they opt in, very quickly and very easily, with this simple, how did you hear about us? And so I recommend that you give it a shot. And if you like this kind of stuff, more advanced optimization, conversion tactics, and even a lot more advanced than this little tactic right here, if you will, then you should definitely check out the 26 Advanced Marketing Funnel Conversion Tactics training. Like the name implies, there are 26 really super advanced conversion tactics that you can add into any funnel, regardless of what product or service it is that you're selling. And any one of those 26 conversion tactics can have a profound impact on your overall sales conversion rate. And so somewhere on this page, either below the video or at the end of this video, there'll be a link, and you can click on that link and get all the details. I think you'll really find value in that training program if you really dig advanced conversion techniques. So talk to you soon. Bye-bye.